Hello, everybody.
Yellow.
Welcome to this edition of Bedford County Live. I'm David Thomas. This is Bo Gill.
Yes,
We're
sir.
here on the Shelbyville Now platform on YouTube, on Facebook, and on our website at shelbyvillenow.com. We want to thank everybody for joining us, and we're going to give away a nice prize tonight, Bo.
We are.
We've got.
We always
we'll talk about that later. But to win this prize, whatever it might be, we'll get into that in a little while. All you have to do is chat with us. Just check in with us tonight. Let us know you're here. And I hope that we have some conversation tonight that is entertaining and enlightening and gives people opportunity to share their thoughts on a couple of topics, Bo, as always.
It's Bedford County Live. It's Monday night at 8:30. So y'all already know that there's going to be some misspoke by me. Because I've already misspoke. So I did a misspeak.
What is
misspoke?
That?
So y'all know
that John Hart. Hello, John Hart. All right, I'm going to interrupt you when somebody comes in.
Well, that's very good because we welcome to all of our viewers, our people that are viewing it live, and the people that watch it after. We want to thank all the viewers, people that participate.
So right now, if you're sitting there watching, share this link with your friends so they can be a part of this. We want as many people in here as possible.
Yeah, y'all come on in. We're ready. I mean, I'm excited. I'm always excited for these.
First, Bo, I want to go over some announcements that's coming up, and I want to remind everybody about our Christmas parade. It's the 50th anniversary Christmas parade.
Wow, 50th.
On December the 2nd at 4 o'clock. It's the same normal parade route.
Were you at the first parade?
No, I wasn't. And
could have swore you've been to all 50.
No, the theme is a 50s Christmas. Okay, so
50
there's a 50 theme all the way through that 50th anniversary. Also, we got County Fair Christmas, which is going to be at the Ag Center on Midland Road this coming Saturday, November 11th, which is, by the way, Veterans Day. We want to remind you about that.
Thank you for all your service.
9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Ag Center. We also have a Festival of Trees, a holiday craft fair, which is going to be on November the 18th at the Fly Building, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's on a Saturday as well. That's not this coming Saturday, but the next. You'll make sure you want to be a part of that. There'll be vendors and there's all types of things going on there. Crafts, and there's going to be
local artists.
I don't know about that.
Well, of course.
I don't know.
Well, if there aren't, y'all need to come.
Yeah. All right. So, also, very important night. This Thursday night is the official launch of Conservatives of Bedford County. It's a meeting for the future of this organization. We've got a great guest speaker coming, Bo.
Yes, very great.
Mr. Brandon Taylor. He is the Republican Party chairman of Lawrence County. He's got a fantastic presentation to give to us. He's going to speak to us and get us off on the right foot. That's at 7 o'clock at the Bedford County Ag Center. If you're watching this and you plan on being there, invite your friends to come. We're going to have a big crowd. Probably we're going to run out of seats and probably going to run out of food. We're going to have some food there too. But
Brandon Taylor, if you don't know him, is like David said, Lawrence County Republican chairman. He is an outstanding speaker. He's a motivator. He's something that we need, and he's something that we can all kind of get behind and push. And hey, he's just a regular guy. So I look forward to that on Thursday. Also, with the Republican Party, the local Bedford County Republican Party, we have a new headquarters on North Main Street. You might see in the sign there, 1302 North Main Street. We are having our grand opening on November 13th, and we will have an update of the state with Senator Shane Reeves and State Rep Pat Marsh. So
when they come to that, are they open to questions publicly, or do they just talk? And what do they do?
They what they usually do is they both give updates on the budget, on the money flow, on things happening at Capitol Hill, and then they'll take questions. At the end, they usually take questions. Of course, they're going to be around mingling with the members and the people that are involved. We've really pushed this. You might have seen some advertisements around town. But what they'll do is they'll be approachable there. Shane and Pat are just two great guys that are just want to hear from the constituents. And I encourage everybody to be there at 1302 North Main Street. It's kind of on the corner of Butler Street and North Main. That'll be November the 13th, Monday, 6:30 p.m.
That office is upstairs.
It's a second floor upstairs.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We've got Billy and Terry Wilhoit. Good to have you guys tonight. If you would, again, please share this link with your friends so that we can have more people join and get in here with us. And also Leverage Power Washing. Thanks to Leverage Power Washing. They are a sponsor of the Jake Tower Coaches Show for Cascade High School.
Yes, they do some great work.
Yeah,
y'all give them a call. Leverage
and
Power
I know
Washing.
several people that have used them, and they've done an outstanding job.
Myself included, I might say.
Yeah,
so I am a pleased customer.
Yeah,
definitely. Thank y'all.
But our official sponsor night on the show is the Winter Circle. That's our family's business here at 603 Evans Street. And we've got more than horse stuff. We've got Ariat products. We've also got
knives,
pocket knives, case and buck.
Good stuff.
The good pocket knives. And we have a selection of kitchen cutlery as well. We have Orca coolers and some of their drinkware. We've got Duke Cannon products. If you starting to get in Christmas shopping mode and need to buy for a man, it's some of the best products. Is you'll get great stocking stuffers. Talking ahead, I know there's a lot of you out there already shopping, so come by and see us. And tonight, we're going to give this belt away. This is a leather belt that's made in our workshop out of Wickett and Craig bridle leather. It's for a man or for a woman. We can do the men's version or the ladies' version.
Made right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee.
Made right here in our shop. And the value on this is $57.95. So if you have chatted with us, you're already entered to win. But if you will chat, jump in there. Normal in, you just jumped in there, so you can win Bubba D a belt if your name's still.
Well, let me tell you, that belt right there brings back some memories. I've had some bad relationships.
Let's don't go there yet.
Okay, well, we're going to go there. We're going to go.
We're going to talk about this belt later, Bo. But I want to talk about our Shelbyville and Bedford County police reports, our sheriff's department reports. We have been posting on ShelbyvilleNow.com for the past few weeks, and I noticed it's getting to the point to where it's ridiculous on the amount of garbage that I've been typing and putting in there. And when I say garbage, it's just nonsense, a lot of nonsense. We've got traffic violations. It's the same repeat over and over and over again. And I've made a decision that we're going to start giving a report weekly on this show, Bo, to talk about some of the stuff that's going on and what our police officers have to deal with. And I know you have looked over the report as well. What have you seen on that report?
Well, first off, let me say a big thank you to the Bedford County Sheriff's Department and the Shelbyville Police Department for all the hard work they do. When David speaks of all this garbage going on, these are the guys, the police officers, the ones that have to go meet this head on. And they never know what they're going to get into. So we want to thank them and thank them for their cooperation with Shelbyville Now to provide us these reports. This weekend alone, there were 7 DUIs in Bedford County, which is a problem. But I say congratulations to the Bedford County Sheriff's Department for getting these people off, and the Shelbyville Police Department and the Tennessee Highway Patrol for getting these people off of the streets. Look, if you drink, don't drive. We've all heard it. But let's act a little bit. So I say they made 7 arrests this weekend. So how many did they not arrest? That's what scares you. And, just use a little common sense. If you drink, don't drive, do the watermelon crawl. That's what they say.
The what?
That's just the old country song.
Well, all right.
But seriously, I like to throw a little comedy in there. But thank you to the police department and sheriffs and the local authorities. 7 DUIs. There were several. Meth is still coming up. You're seeing a lot of Schedule II substance arrests, which Schedule II is cocaine or a methamphetamine. It's a very addictive drug, whatever it is, and they're getting it off the street. But we know, and it's
Joe Coughlin, back to blue, absolutely 100%. We won't give. I mean, you can't give them enough credit for some of this stuff.
The police department, and they're just great. The staff that they've built, the officers they've built, the front line we have, they're such great. There's young, there's old, and they're approachable. But let me tell you, they are in it for this county to protect.
You know what's depressing though? When they have to get that call and go to a domestic violence issue where there's just arguing and just nonsense, occupying their time to deal with stuff that should be
to be a mediator.
Adults should be able to work out.
They're a mediator
differences
when there are things that they need to be going to. There are several things that they do, and I asked,
and Brandy comes in and says they can't be everywhere, but we are stretching them to the max, letting them go on these wild goose chases of nonsense.
Yes,
I mean, and then you've got people And this is another thing that I've seen in the last 3 months, Bo. It's ridiculous how many people are driving around without their driver's license.
Yep.
They don't have a driver's license. Their driver's license revoked. They suspended. All this nonsense.
It is, and it's sad, but it's true that you know that people don't, when they violate the law and they have to face the consequences, they still just you know, wild west. And while that's not hurting anybody, a lot of times that's when people get killed, is in those situations. But the Shelbyville Police Department, the Bedford County Sheriff's Department, you know, state troopers here and around, they're doing a wonderful job getting this. But you know, it's up to us to not do these things. I mean, if you drink and drive, you are putting not only your life at risk, you're putting everyone else.
Excuse me.
Do you need a second, please, sir?
Yes.
Okay, let's give him a second.
Excuse me, guys. I've had
We'll play the
sort of
Jeopardy. I think he's had too much in that coffee in there or something. You got it a little strong tonight. I don't know. We might have to get that checked out. But
one thing though that you were talking about, and Brady's talking about, they can't be everywhere.
No, they can't.
So it's kind of ridiculous. Some of the stuff they have to deal with.
Well, it is, and the stuff that they deal with is they're almost like a mediator in between. That's what they're doing. They're going and they're solving little problems, and not only are they're coming back and they're going back.
Yeah.
And then there's the thing of we do have a homeless problem that's you know, is an issue here, and we've got people, you know, screaming on the side of the road, and then or laying on the side of the road, so they're getting barged with all these calls, and they have to respond each one. Yeah. And that right there ties it up too. You know, there has to be a way to rectify that. And then, you know, where does this start? Where does all this crime come from? You know, it comes,
most of it is not crime though, but when I think about crime, I think about robberies, and there's a few of those scattered in there.
There were some thefts. You know, there are some thefts.
But for the most part, it's just nonsense.
No, it's not violent. Not that it don't happen here, but it's not overall violent crimes.
Yeah. Well, Kenny Cartwright sums it up. Good to see you in here, Kenny. Awesome job. I mean, yes, these guys do an awesome job, and honestly, our Bedford County Sheriff Department and our Shelbyville Police Department both are shorthanded.
And they are, and if that's something that you're wanting to do or want to get in, they would love to talk to you. I know Austin and Jan would love to get some good qualified people, and it's good to hear the people responding positively to the police officers, and like you said, the blue needs to come back, or whatever Mr. Heflin said. That's right, and we need to support them. But this is not the way all across the nation. I'm hearing stories in California and places out west where you can just steal, you can just shoplift $1,000 worth. If it's under $1,000, they're cool with it, and they're not bothering us. So it's just going to lead to more and more crime. They're running the insane asylum, and speaking of those need to come back, because I mean, they need to do something about that. But it starts with the family, it starts with the parents, it starts right there, and then it works its way up.
All right, Brendan Taylor's in here
in the house
now, tuning in, and
well, he's late.
It's good to see you, Brendan. Y'all be sure and share this link so more people can join in.
Share the link.
We're about to start a topic, and I'm going to bring it up, Bo.
Bring it up.
Getting back to this belt.
Oh, that belt.
This is a nice leather belt, and most men and ladies now, a lot of ladies wear belts.
Yeah.
I remember my daddy wore a belt, and that belt signified more than an instrument to hold pants up.
Oh no! Oh yes. Yeah.
It was a arm of just discipline.
It was the discipline arm of the family law, is what it was.
Yeah, and I can remember running from one of these. Okay, and that got me more of it. But Bo, I'm hearing some sad stories locally about teachers dealing with nonsense in the classroom, and they can't deal with it. They have no recourse. So my question to everybody is, what can we do to help our teachers get turned around? I think the law has tilted in the favor of the kids are running the show basically these days.
They are running the show. This is a sad situation here, and we've got to correct this. It's been years in the slow drip of the liberal mentality and the feminization of the male authority figure and discipline in the schools and in overall public. So, there is a report in Bedford County of a teacher, just walking out, just being done with it because that they can't that because the kids are so bad, and he knows that he or she knows that their hands are tied and they can't do anything. So I wouldn't imagine that they would just walk out. They've probably tried other avenues to try to get a hold on these kids, and they can't do it. So it makes me wonder, the discipline, the belt, is the belt or the paddle. They've taken it totally out of the school, and this has been within the past 15 years. Lawsuits. Everybody's scared of a lawsuit, but are we going to be too scared of lawsuits, or do we need to finally lay the law down in these schools and know that the teachers, that the principals are running this place, and without that, without the fear of God put into some of these children, they're just going to continue. We're doing them a disservice by not giving them the proper discipline.
Well, what it's telling those is we don't love them anymore.
It is.
If you're a parent and don't want to correct your kid, you're basically telling them, I don't love you enough to correct you.
And they think they're showing love by not hitting them.
All right, we've got
or disciplining them.
Yeah, well, it went from getting your rear end beat to getting put in a corner to getting put in timeout. Then it's negotiation. We're going to try to coerce you to do the right thing instead of demand the right thing. And now it's a free for all.
Hey, the statute of limitations are out on this one, but I went to school with bruises on me because I got my butt tanned up by a real thick belt.
Here's a Capri Heart batting. Kids are raising themselves these days. It's so sad. That's absolutely right. They are. The parents have checked out in most cases. Now, there are some good ones out there. I've seen it. Okay, Brandy, you said it. It's the kids. It's not teachers. It's men afraid of being sued by parents that don't know how to parent before being a friend. Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
And back to the belts, I got a paddling in school. I got one from mom when I got home, then dad too. I turned out just fine. And the aunts and uncles might join in down the road too if they heard of it.
Yes, exactly.
Chuck Heflin, it all comes back to a lack of discipline at home. You're absolutely right. And I'm going to take it a step further. It's not just about the discipline, but we've taken God and his word out of the home, in my opinion.
When that goes, it's like a healthy foundation against a foundation on sand. It's going to crumble. And when the word's taken out, it will crumble, and it has crumbled. And the cracks are getting to be so big now that the whole structure is about to crumble.
Okay. So Bo, that I can see it crumbling. Okay. Right now, this country is in a mess. And this is one of the big issues. When you see teenagers, 13, 14, 15-year-olds in these flash mobs in these big cities, just coming into a store and crashing the windows in and taking whatever they want, and the law not doing anything about it, and the parents not doing anything about it, they're running the show. We have a child mob is what we have running around now.
And all it would take, honestly, is about 2 or 3 times of the police or whoever standing up against it, and maybe cracking some heads in the process, like it needs to be done. I'm sorry to say it, but it needs to be done. And then maybe they'll think twice about that, because the flash mobs, the kids, whatever. The kids are minors and they are to be taught. Now, when they get 18, they can go ahead, but this has got to stop. It's madness.
I wonder how many teachers we have out there right now. Are there any teachers that are present tonight in chat? If so, give us your thoughts, how you feel when you have to deal with an unruly child. Do you feel like you're helpless? Do you feel like you have backing from anybody, or do you feel all alone? I'd like to know that.
The threat of the paddling was always a deterrent. And to know that you wouldn't get a paddling and only ISS or serve some detention, they'll act out. There's something about the paddle. And some people laughed at the paddle. There was the big tough kid with the beard at school that always laughed at.
Let me tell you something. Here's Amanda Langford comes in. Today, parents are scared of their kids. Society is changing. It's scary. All right, here's a question, Amen. Amanda. Why do you think parents are scared of their kids? That don't even make sense to me. I understand it and I see it, but I can't wrap my brain around what's going on.
When a child's disciplined right, even if he outgrows his dad, the son's still scared of the dad.
Let me tell you something. My dad's 97 years old, and he's weak, and he probably don't weigh 140 pounds, but he can still whip my rear end.
Yes, no doubt. And I probably could use a few more. If I could get a couple whoopings, that might help out some dumb, goofy.
Alan, hey, come take care of it.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
No. All right. Just put me in the corner.
Here's the question again. How do we help teachers overcome this? I know administration can only go so far. These liberal laws that have been passed over the years have watered down any type of discipline that can be used in school. The threat of being sued is ridiculous. It's
Yep.
corporate. It's corporate punch or corporal. How do you say corporate punishment? Corporal
Yeah,
punishment.
corporal.
Corporal punishment. Hands-on punishment still allowed in school today. If it is, what do you have to do it? You have to sign a contract and get a lawyer to read it, or
I
what?
would say so. I would say you have to have that and all kinds of witnesses. Yeah, you proposed the question, and that's what I've been thinking. What can we do? And every time I ask, oh, really? You can't do this to a child in school. They say, yeah, we just can't. Well, you know what? It's time to change those laws where you can, because I can't anymore, and I know that we can't right now legally. If their hands are tied, well, it's time to get some. It's time to talk to lawmakers, and it's time to get a solution to this. If not, we're going to end up with more mass shootings, more of these crazy lunatics, is what they are.
I want to tell you something I saw happen in a local high school, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years ago tops. I was there. We were doing some filming, and there was a PE class going on. 2 young men, I'll use that term very loosely when I say this, got into a fist fight, and basically all the teachers and the coaches could do was separate them and just send them about their way. And I said, is there no punishment for that? Because when I was in school, I'd have been kicked out. They said, we can't do anything.
Yeah, they would, back in the day, they would have took you over there and put gloves on and let you fight it out till you're sick of it, and then you're done with it. But they've taken it out, and that comes back to the feminization of America. I mean,
don't get me started on that.
The man buns.
All right, Brendan Taylor. Even though I only worked 2 years as an EA, I know many teachers, and for them, they feel helpless. Absolutely. And then Amanda comes in and says, I think it's a discipline thing. Parents get in trouble for whipping their kids today. Now, here's a question. What law is there? I know that child abuse charges were brought up on Adrian Peterson, the running back, the NFL running back, for disciplining his children with a switch.
Mm-hmm.
He actually got charged for child abuse. His career was destroyed for 2 or 3 years, and he got suspended from the NFL for whipping his kids
in the privacy of his home.
Yeah.
And when you get a whipping, you might feel like it, but my dad would just laugh at me when I would say that. He'd say, "Go on, call him," and that, because back then you knew that the police were going to be like, "Yeah, whip him again." Where is that? That's just simple discipline, y'all. Did some principal go rogue and just start whipping kids, and then they just stopped it one day?
Every in my encounter in school in the 60s and 70s, okay. The last half of the 60s and all the 70s, I saw kids get their hind end beat, and they deserved every bit of it.
Oh, and I
never saw a teacher out of line. As a matter of fact, most teachers had patience, and it was a last resort.
Right.
But they needed it, and they got it. And you know what? It corrected some of these kids.
And it wasn't an out of the law. And there were like legends of the paddles that some of these teachers had. Like, some of them have holes in them, or there was one that a guy had electric paddle. That right there. But that scares you though. Like I seriously thought, well, if he's got an electric paddle, I'm not going to mess with him.
Yeah, Brendan gets into this too. One of the issues is that students can't be held accountable via the grade book for lack of work. Let's get passed on through.
They get passed through, and they can't read. They can't write.
Connie Hasty, you have to call parent before you can do anything to correct them. If they say no to paddling, then your hands are tied. And there's our problem. No parents.
That's the parents.
In my opinion, that parent is useless.
That parent, if it should be that if the kid does act out, then the parent has to come to the school to either observe a whipping or something.
Amanda Langford, Coach Carson. Chicken legs Carson.
Yeah,
all right.
He would do it now.
I had him in the 7th grade, and he had a closet in his front right-hand corner of his room in the old junior high school, and he had his Board of Education hanging on the door.
Yep.
And if somebody got out of line, he took them into that room, and he wore their hind end out. Well, and when they came out, they were not happy, but you know what? They were quiet, and they behaved.
Well, they sure did, and that is exactly what happened with Coach Jimmy Williams. He would light you up, and he probably would do it today if he could. But he was a legend of the paddle back in those.
Well, let me tell you about that. There was a healthy fear of all these guys, but I look back on them and I love them for what they did.
I sure do, and I thank them for it sometimes. Even though I wasn't the top paddle, I didn't make the top of the list.
Yeah.
I did get my fair share, and I deserved it.
And David Smith comes in. Back in the day, even a bus driver had paddle on the bus, and I rode a bus. and there were some guys that needed their rear ends beat every day.
And they get it beat in the morning and afternoon on the way back and on the way to school the next morning and at home.
How can we get this turned around?
That's a great question. All we do now is just say, well, we can't right now, but it's a societal issue. It's not just happening in Bedford County. It's happening nationwide, worldwide. I don't know, but it needs to be back, and we need to talk to our lawmakers. I mean, isn't this something that they deal with, or our school boards, or what? We need to get together, and we need to say, if we love the kids, it's time for discipline to come back in the schools.
But I think we have gone so soft. Period.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean,
that I don't know that even the good parents today. Well, I'm even going to go down that path. It's a different world. It's
a different world.
Somebody mentioned that.
And there are issues. There are families that do suffer heartbreaks. There are just, parents that leave a good family that never come back. There are so many, issues that go along with this. And there's some that just cannot discipline them. Say a single mother that couldn't get home.
Let me tell you something. If for some reason my grandparents had to raise me, they would have beat my hind end too.
Well, mine too. But that maybe there is a situation. I try to think outside the box for everything of people that do. But I'd say there's resources to get that help. To get that man in that child's life. Whether it be these type of programs they have in town, but discipline needs to be number one. If there's no fear from an action, then you won't know if that action is good or bad. Then you grow up and then you make these actions that put you in the.
David Smith is bringing this up. I love Coach Collin, but let me tell you, when he gripped his paddle like a 9-iron, you never wanted another, and did as you were told. And that 9-iron, he could hit it about 150 yards too.
David, are you speaking from experience? I believe there.
No, I just heard about him. He was at Cascade.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was at Cascade.
The legend of the paddle. They need to come back. They don't need to be legends anymore. There needs to be a new champ of the paddle now.
Amanda brings this point up, which we've already mentioned. It's not a Bedford County problem. It's a nationwide problem. It is. Totally different world. So my question, all right, I've had Dr. Garrett on here, and she's talked about several different programs that they have going on. And I know it's frustrating for her as an administrator to hear the stories in her schools and being handcuffed by this soft nonsense that we've got going on. So I guess you took us down the right path by saying we've got to go to our lawmakers. I don't know what
I think that's what we do, because we can go and we can raise these issues with our local superintendent, Dr. Garrett. They're doing the school board outstanding job. They love the kids of this community. They have to make tough decisions that either some agree with or don't agree with. But overall, we've got people in the position to love our county and love our kids, and we've got a wonderful superintendent. But a lot of times, even though that superintendent is head of schools, their hands are tied from a higher level.
Yeah. But
those concerns need to go there, and they need to go to the lawmakers. That would be Pat Marsh, State Rep Pat Marsh, or Senator Shane Reeves, and they'll be at the Republican Party on November 13th, and they'll be glad to listen to you. I've never heard them not listen or to walk away from a constituent.
I saw something in some of our police reports. Back on that, we were talking earlier. Mike Bynum, let's bring this up. The problem many times is the parents take up for the child and will be at school fussing at the principal, and kids see that and use it. Absolutely, 100%. Those are not good parents. Those parents need their butt kicked.
That they need to line up in the next room for the whooping or the butt whooping.
Okay. Where I was headed, police reports. I noticed that there were a few charges of truancy.
Yeah.
I have not heard of truancy in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. That is punishment to the parents for not having their kids at school.
It is.
So what is the recourse on that these days? I wonder if anybody knows that.
I don't personally, but I'm glad to see that that's being enforced, because that is something, like you said, schools used to have a truancy officer, and that was his main job. And I know that maybe these SROs are handling this now, which that's a great job. But yes, that's a responsibility on the parent. I think truancy ought to be a bigger charge.
Brendan Taylor. Oh, Jeremy Trout, wonderful superintendent. Y'all haven't worked under her. Well, I've had her on here talking about different things. It's like this. She's got a tough job to do. We've got so many good teachers and different staff positions all across the whole board.
Yes.
I tell you what, there's like a wave of nonsense coming through our whole education system, and this stuff that we're talking about right now is part of it.
It is.
The discipline
Yeah.
part is the issue, and there's so many things that you have to deal with in this. But this is the one thing to me that has turned our education system upside down.
And the teachers are on the front line. So as we started this conversation, we talked about a teacher here in Bedford County that's walked out because his hands are tied, and there's and they throw their hands up. We're losing a lot of good teachers. We need a lot of teachers. The classrooms right now are in need of these teachers. So when you have to hire people to run a nut house, you're not going to get the quality teachers. I'm not taking anything away from ours, but I mean, it does the same thing with police officers. When they're told they can't do this and can't do that, there's some great teachers that would do some, if they did in the past, that if they were hired now and did the same thing, they would be fired.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And those were the best teachers.
Yeah.
But thank you for teachers. Y'all are the front line to this. Y'all are the voice of this. Y'all know what's really going on. We hear things and we don't know, but the teachers really know, and they need to really inform the parents. I think that it would be great if they had meetings, individual meetings about discipline issues.
I was talking to a teacher not long ago. He's in a high school, and he basically told me that all we're doing is crowd control around here. He said we can't get kids to settle down enough to even teach anymore. It's just a constant battle.
I'm sure it's got to be, but is it time to call the parents together to start really, being more aware and knowing what's going on in these schools? And
I think we know what's going on.
Well, we've got to. I'm trying to search for answers here, but I'd say our best one right here is to get to our lawmakers and make our. But there has to be one voice. Don't help. It has to be many.
Many voices. All right, Brendan Taylor. He sums up a 3-point statement here. Legislation is always downstream of culture. I personally believe that if we define the kind of culture we want our kids to be brought up in, make the culture our bullseye and aim for that bullseye with our personal choices, and finally craft and uphold legislation that enables us to hit that bullseye, we'll be on the right path. Here's the problem. We're in the minority, it seems like now.
And that's crazy.
This tilted culture of,
lawsuit. Looking to sue. Everything's a lawsuit, ridiculous. And they would rather sacrifice, their children's discipline over a lawsuit, and that's true.
I can see this happening. I can see public schools start getting smaller and smaller and smaller because people are going to try to get their kids out of that environment. Those that really care and can afford to have a private school, they're going to do it. Now, and these private schools are going to.
Do these private schools have to adhere to any type of discipline regulations or
not like that? Not unless it's funded. It's not funded.
That is why we're
money.
In America, and that's why we have choices to make. And I'm so glad to live in a country like that, because when the government don't work, then the government supplies things that don't work. Then we've got a choice to move. And maybe that's where we need to do. And maybe that's the only place our voice can be heard, is if we get out of these schools and then maybe come up with a solution on vouchers or something to get in these private schools and just do away with the public education. It ain't working no more.
Unfortunately, when you go down that path, a lot of kids are left behind and in the dirt. That's the part, because it's the parents.
Well, that's true. And it's not, when I mentioned that idea, it sounds good, but there's always some things, but I know that there's solutions. I know that the government isn't the be all end all fix all for that. And I think that the people can actually come together and help those left behind.
Connie Hasty said it out loud. You are being too nice. Parents believe their children are all smart darlings who do nothing wrong. You're absolutely correct. I'll just tell you something.
Well, Lord, yeah.
But here's the thing. I didn't have any problem with my kids, but if a teacher told me that they were acting up, I believed it and dealt with it at home, and that teacher had free reign.
Yeah, I think that the most important part is that the teacher doesn't go just rogue in the classroom on the kids without notifying the parents. If the parent and the teacher have a good communication line,
there's a problem. See,
then that you're exactly right.
The good parents make sure that happens. Yes. The teachers can't do a whole lot.
And they need that so they can say, "Hey, stick it to little Johnny today," even worse or something. They need to know, because parents know they're weak. The children's like kind of things that tick them off or the things that kind of get them settled down. And if they can have that communication, then maybe they can help rectify it without, right now, without any type of physical discipline.
I mean, we could go on and on about this. I appreciate everybody's input tonight.
Bring the belt back.
Yeah.
Bring the belt.
And don't forget, paddle. If you have commented tonight, this leather belt, Perfection Leather, made right here in our workshop at the Winter Circle. We're going to be giving this away. One of them like this.
It's $57 value.
Yeah, $57.95 belt. One that's handmade right here in our shop.
Right, Winter Circle.
We will be drawing at 9:00 in the morning. If you have entered, if you're a lady, we'll make a ladies version for you. If you're a man, this right here is perfect for you. Just let us know the size. Emily's just now getting here. Nice belt. Yeah. And you did miss a good show.
You missed a good one.
We need to wind things down, guys. Any topics that you would like to talk about, you're welcome to send us a suggestion on our website, on our email address at admin@shelbyvillenow.com, and we will take up that topic and talk about it. We appreciate your input.
Now, you saying that, make sure for all local news that you check out shelbyvillenow.com. It's updated daily, multiple times daily on sadly the obituaries, their crime reports, and every Tuesday, that'll be tomorrow, the land reports. You'll see the real estate transactions.
Yeah, all this and Brandy brought that up. I know you said you were going to be posting land transfers. If you go to shelbyvillenow.com and look under local news, at the top of the page, you will see all the real estate transfers. They're posted weekly. It will be in the PDF form of the actual transfer that we get from the Register of Deeds office. So
yes,
they're there now.
You go under local news, and that is there. I know some people have asked me about that.
It's right at the top of the page, and it's posted. It'll probably back up there again tomorrow. We probably
every Tuesday we get our report on Tuesday, and then we get crime reports daily. And sometimes we update those, every day, sometimes every couple days. When there's a lot happening, any big stories, we try to get comments.
All right, hold on. We got Brandy is coming back in with something else. Be interested in the plan for 46 acres on Old Nashville Dirt Road on 28. Is it too soon? I'm not sure what that is. Do you know anything about some land on?
Yeah, there. I know that right out of town on the right, if that's what you're talking about. Right past,
on Nashville Dirt Road.
Yeah, it's on the right, and they're building a big subdivision there. I don't have the plans or the details in front of it, but I do have information on that subdivision if there's something that they wanted to know about it. But that is going to be a big subdivision there. It's going to create quite a bit of more traffic. They're starting to move a lot of dirt on it right now, and that'll be in between that section of Green Lane,
more rooftops and more stress on the infrastructure.
That's right. That's right. But landowners
let's collapse this thing. Man.
You ready to collapse it?
That's where it's headed.
Well, it is headed that way. But you know what? We need our infrastructure. We've talked about this. We beat it. It needs to be pushed forward. I don't know what they're doing. I hope that they're seeing this, and I know that the discussions at the city level have been had, and I know that they're working to get this going. But the growth is still coming no matter what. We're growing. We're still growing regardless of what how inflation is reacting. As people are still coming from states that are in worse condition and come in here. The income tax, the state income tax. Having no state income tax alone does bring people here.
Okay, all right. Brandy say it's just sold on 28 corner of Pinkston. Not sure which one you're talking about.
I can give you a detailed report on that next time, or you can contact me and we will.
Brandy, you want us to talk about that on next week's show? Is that what it is? We'd be happy to dig that up and check it out and talk about it.
Yep. That's one that I'm not familiar with right off the top of my head. So I don't like to speak on something that I'm not too familiar with. I think I may know, but a may and a do or sometimes get me in trouble.
All right. So tonight.
But thank you.
And thanks for everybody participating tonight. Go hug a teacher.
Yeah, go hug and a police officer and a fireman and anybody like that. Thank them anytime. Just
buy their coffee if they're standing around in a coffee shop, or buy their lunch, or whatever. If you see them.
But just
hats off to them.
Be nice to them. They see a lot of bad things, and they see a lot of people on their worst day. So I know it sounds kind of cheesy or whatever, but hey, just do it.
All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to visit us on ChapelvilleNow.com for all your local news and weather and sports.
Yes, please.
And Bo, we'll be back next week.
We
Same
will.
time, same place. Everybody be ready.
Be there.
And don't forget Thursday night, Conservatives of Bedford County at the Bedford County Ag Center at 7 p.m. Be
Yes.
there. Bring friends. It's going to be an awesome night. Y'all have a good one. And we will see you soon.